The U.S. state of Vermont has been inundated by flash floods after 2 months of rain fell in 2 days. The governor is calling it historic and catastrophic. Emergency crews and boats have conducted more than 100 rescues. President Joe Biden has declared a state of emergency in the area, and parts of the northeastern U.S., including New York State, has seen some of the most severe flooding in more than a decade in recent days.
It was very horrible, actually, and making it home was terrifying. We live on the hill up there, past Shaw's, and going up it, there's a whole river going down with logs. It was just...
Yeah, it's different for me because I'm not from these parts. I'm from like New York, so we don't get a lot of this. So it was a new thing to go through.
I was more concerned about my daughter, or our daughter, and getting her home safely.
Yeah. And like everything shutting down, like how people can survive out here without any of this open. So that's one of my biggest concerns. We went grocery shopping like 3 days before, which I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
You get a flash warning on your phone and you're like, okay, this happens, so many notifications, it's not that big of a deal. And we've been getting flood warnings for the past, few weeks with all the rain we've been getting, so that's what I was expecting. And then someone knocked on our door and was like, you need to move your car, thankfully. And so we had time to get the car out, and then afterwards, as you said, going downtown, just realizing that you had water up to here was absolutely insane. And it's really unlike any other event I've ever lived through.
All right, correspondent Rotimi Kade has been monitoring developments from New Jersey, and he joins us now for more update on that. It's good to have you, Rotimi. So Vermont is suffering from catastrophic flooding. What's the latest there?
Well, yes, indeed. The city of the state of Vermont has been experiencing a lot of catastrophic, scenes, especially torrential rains that we've seen in the past 2 days. Well, according to officials, about 2 months of rain have been dumped in 2 days. So the city is technically underwater. Some cities have as much as 9 inches of rain. And right now, Governor Phil Scott is also declaring a state of emergency in some of the cities. And he's also saying that right now, this is almost surpassing what was witnessed in Vermont in 2011 when Tropical Storm Irene actually inundated the city. Right now, the city is in recovery mood. Businesses are taking stocks of all the destructions, and right now they are trying to do a lot of cleanups. Federal aids have been deployed in the area. And of course, a lot of people who refuse to leave are really, they've seen the devastation that has been caused in the city. And right now, it's really more than what was expected. Again, the dam that was supposed to be released to make the situation even worse than what it was. We understand that that was actually not to be, because it didn't actually breach its usual level that could make it even worse than what it is right now.
All right, and thank you so much for that. But let's talk about the state of emergency that President Biden has declared, for the area. What does that mean exactly?
Well, when the president declares state of emergency, it means that federal powers will be deployed in the area that the state of emergency was declared, like the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The president actually instructed the agency to actually move down to the city of Vermont to assist in the recovery process. And we're going to be seeing much of that being done in making sure that the city goes back to normal as it should. And I think that's what the federal might and federal assistance means, especially when it comes to state of emergency.
Indeed, Rotimi. Now, meanwhile, other parts of the U.S. are suffering from a prolonged heat wave. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, we've seen, especially in the middle belt area, the Beltway area, they call it the Bible Belt, and also we've seen the southern part of the U.S., like Florida, Texas, and of course, some part of California, seeing extreme weather condition, especially extreme wave. Right now, according to meteorologists, it is expected that about triple digits will be experienced in those areas, especially in the city of, in some cities in Texas and of course in Florida, going to as much as 120, 110 for the next few days, which also brings to the fact that the more heat wave changes, high possibilities of much flooding in those areas, because what happens is we have warmer temperatures attracting, flooding, and much heavy rains will be expected in those areas. But again, cautions have been out. They tell citizens to actually not go in out when it is not necessary. You have to stay in, you have to stay cool, because some of these high temperatures have some health implications.
All right, then. Thank you so much for being on here. Rice correspondent Rotimi Kade.